right, guys, we are going to go ahead and start. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're tuning in on TikTok or if you're tuning in on Marketing Mousetrap Agency, I'll go ahead and hold the L this week because at the last minute, I tried to put us up on YouTube and on LinkedIn and Facebook, and it just didn't work exactly how I wanted to. So I got to go back to the drawing board, and hopefully by next week, we'll be able to be on everything and everybody will see us all at once. But for now, you can definitely see us on Marketing Mousetrap Agency. And we want to give you a lot of game in this episode, so you want to stick around. Yes. I think Mouse is going to try to pull it out of me, and I'll try to pull it out of him as much as possible.
Facts.
And we'll be able to give you as much tips as we can and as much advice as it comes when it comes to actually doing this thing called business.
Right, because everybody knows, if you don't know, we do this live. There's no pre-recorded process that we are actually uploading to YouTube or anything else. We ask these questions, we mess up, we succeed live here with you guys. So when I ask a question to Cody or Cody asks a question with me and I start fumbling or I say the wrong word or whatever the case might be, we don't cut it up, we don't cut it off, we don't cut it out. We let you see it because we're real live people. Like, he's really here. I'm doing this in real time. So we like to give people the game, and we're definitely going to give you the game tonight. So hopefully you have a better understanding that you can leave that thought process of 2025 and 2025 and go into 2026 with a brand new mindset, a brand new attitude, and a brand new way of doing things.
That's a very good point, and we hope you had a great Christmas.
Yes.
And we know you're going to have a happy New Year.
Facts.
And everything is going to be great on the up and up in 2026, especially with what we've got going and what we know you guys got going and the ideas you got flowing. So
Facts.
We want to help you gain more knowledge to help those ideas curate even better than what they are now. And we want to kind of in this episode cut the technical jargon and give you the real spiel on what it is we're talking about and how it is that it is achieved. We don't want to leave you confused on exactly what it is we're talking about, so we'll go ahead and get right into it.
Sure. So here's the thing. Let's talk about how my process is currently in Mouse Apparel Inc.
Okay.
I currently, and maybe while I'm talking about it, people can understand it, as far as how to change from the old way to the new way.
Okay.
So going from the Blockbuster to the Netflix.
Okay.
How about that? So currently, when in merchandising, a client would come to me and say, Mouse, I want to brand something to give to my clients. I want to give something top of mind.
Right.
So I would literally have almost like a system that shows there's multiple different products that we can put brand information on, and then they can give that to their client.
Right.
So I do some research. Then after the research, I make sure that artwork is right from my client, to make sure that we can actually print it on the materials.
Right.
And then from there, we send over a virtual proof.
Okay.
And then after the virtual proof, the client actually has to sign off on it. And then after they sign off on it, they've hopefully given me a budget.
Right.
And then in that budget, I will be able to decide on show products that's within their budget. And then we kind of decide, okay, now that's the product that we're going to go with because it's in budget. It shows their artwork. It shows what they're trying to brand.
Right.
And then we want to make sure that it's long-lasting and keeps them top of mind with their target audience.
Okay.
Get that product printed on, deliver it. Of course, they paid, and then we're good to go.
Okay, so it sounds like in that whole process you had a lot of manual labor going on. And
yes.
When I say manual labor, I don't mean that you had people out in the woods cutting down trees.
Right.
I mean that you had a lot of processes that weren't automated.
Correct.
And I could hear it because it sounded like what it was, which is most people's problem, which is you're having back and forth conversations
yes.
with your client.
Correct.
Whether it be inside of an email feed, whether
right.
it be inside of text messages, or what I've found, which is a combination of all of them, which is a terrible idea to have conversations in different threads. Mm-hmm. So that's what it sounds like is going on here.
No, that's exactly what it is. And the communication, sometimes things get lost in communication because my expectation of what I'm requiring of the client and their expectation of what they're getting back in the product can be misaligned.
Correct.
And we want to eradicate that completely and make it very simple for them to communicate to me about what their expectation is or their end goal, and my expectation of what it's going to take to intake from them to get the process going, to make the machine run, so that way I can get the best result possible in the time frame that they want it, in the budget they want it, and visibly, aesthetically pleasing to the way they want it.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like what Mouse could use here is some automated systems. And there's a few automated systems that you could actually do with this specific need right here that Mouse needs. One of them would be automated emails. So instead of having you go back and forth with the client, you can set up an automated email regarding, depending on what they send you, you could send automated emails back, or they can go on your website and insert forms for some kind of input that you want, input fields, and then that will automatically send them an email, automatically send you an email, so that you're always on the up and up, and those are always kept inside of your database. So that's one way that you can stop from this miscommunication and stop from manual labor. But another way that would definitely help is also having that automated contract. And I don't think a lot of people understand what an automated contract is. They think of contracts as going into like Adobe Acrobat and signing like PDF through that, which that's definitely a contract, and that's more of manual because you have to upload it. Sometimes you have to draw the fields and make sure you got each input field the right size so that it fits on your contract. And that is the old school way of doing things. There's actually automated contracts that you can set up inside of your website, whether it be through a form or a whole entire page you've set up, where you can send automatic contracts to your clients. That way there's no miscommunication. As soon as they click a button, bam, a contract is signed, and it prints PDF form right there.
Wow. So if I was, my old way is combining different platforms into a process of, okay, I need to communicate this. Now they did this, now I need to do this, now I need to do that. Is there an AI, because we talk about AI systems, and you're just talking about automation and how to automatically do this, what would correlate between the communication of the email? Is there a particular platform that could be used with that? And then the contract that you just mentioned?
The one platform I use, it's a combination of a couple actually, but the one service I would say I use for automated email is called Email.js. So it's just the word email with the letters J and S at the end of it, and it's email.js.com, and you sign up. You can get a free to test it out and do a couple test runs, but if you want to create multiple templates on there, of course you have to pay like every other service. But this combined with a very powerful tool which you need to keep in your toolkit at all times no matter what is Cursor. And I know you've heard us say that a lot, but Cursor is a big, powerful tool that actually helps the infrastructure of building these systems out. Okay, so Cursor can help, I guess, be the network for the systems? Correct. It could be the hub, the home base. Okay, the hub. Okay, cool. So that way you can always come to Cursor and say, I can do this, and or I want to do this, or I want to do that, and it kind of just helps you out with the, like, making the navigation, I guess you could say, on how to get it done. Right, exactly. It gives you basically like the blueprint that isn't really here. Okay. So like it has different modes, for instance, where essentially you can do like a build mode, you can do a plan mode, you can do an ask mode, so that if you don't want it to just start coding right away and you don't really know what's going on, you want to take a few steps back and see the whole process for yourself, you can change it into ask mode and ask it any question on how does this get done, or how are we going to do this, or what services may I need to on the back end have for this to work properly, and it will tell you. Wow. So Email.js, Cursor, and is there like another system? If Cursor is like the navigation or the blueprint, as you say, for the process, is there another service that you can add on to that to help make it more complete and deliver and give a more of a deliverable? Well, I mean, there's always, of course, you're going to have hosting when it comes to development. So there's a few actually hosting options out there, but one of the most best that I've found when it comes to especially starter developers, use GitHub. GitHub is absolutely free. It offers a lot of free things that you can take advantage of. You don't even have to pay. So make sure that you check out GitHub and host your app there. Now, see, this is how live we really are. We have our audience showing us some things that doesn't make it seem like we could see you guys. So we need to modify some things real time. That just shows you how live this really is. So White Chocolate's gonna get up and do what he does best and readjust some things, because apparently I'm upside down. So, and you guys are seeing me upside down in my feed. So we are literally, this just shows you how real we really are. When I say this is real, this is real. So we pause without any commercial breaks to show you that we're real live, and we're gonna make sure we make the adjustments, because we have people in the audience saying that we need to see you guys right side up versus upside down. Yep, that was interesting. Well,
Yes.
now you guys have been fixed and you're upside right.
Right.
But as I was saying, you guys want to check out GitHub. It allows you to essentially host your app and all your files. And you can even make them restricted where it's not public and you turn it to private so that nobody can actually go in and look at your code or change your code or download your code and copy your app.
Oh, wow. So you can get protected and you're still while you're developing your process.
Correct. And all this, again, is the word we all love, free.
I like free.
Yeah,
Free is good. But you only get a certain amount of things for free.
Correct.
Eventually, you got to pay for a service.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. But the best thing about GitHub, and I'll attest to this, is so far in my 1.5 to 2 years into this development process, I haven't paid a dime with GitHub. And I've been able to host multiple sites.
Wow. So you know what's going to happen, right?
They're going to see this. And I'm going to start paying another $10.99 to $20 a month.
Right, because we got GitHub. That's funny. So people can actually take their systems that they have in place that's maybe antiquated because the way technology is going, and then they can put it into AI platforms. And if they know the navigation of how it works, it can help scale them a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah, it can help scale you a lot quicker. And like I said, with these modes inside of Cursor specifically, when you have like ask and build and prepare and all that, it basically just helps you go through and the process. And so it's like, if I get to this step and something's not working and I don't know why, it either has probably told me how to do it already, or I simply can just ask that specific question and it'll give you step by step how to do it. So I like to say, as long as you can read, you can code.
I like that. If you can read, you can code. Hopefully you can read so you can code. So, I think a lot of times people have seen, within our last few weeks of, doing our podcasting and putting up the videos and everything else, people see that we're knowledgeable about our processes, but I think they need to see more of hear more of a actual platform of how to start to how to move and how to end, because they are still trying to figure this whole thing out. Like Keys said, they're investigating AI.
Right, they're investigating AI. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A lot of people right now are investigating AI, and I say investigating is just another word for educating or learning. So I say investigate away, because the only thing you're going to find is that there's our processes out there, like I'm talking about, that are real and can really help scale your business. I mean, there's a multitude of things that you can use that, like Sora, from chat to Cursor. There's so many apps out there that you really kind of get lost in it when you're investigating. But I would say just don't get too fumbled, don't get construed, just look around and you'll find what you need.
So Cody, this is a great, I guess, segue to ask this particular question. If you were to give our audience right now that we're still investigating, or they're actually said in 2026, I am not going to let AI be my biggest fear, and I'm going to jump into it and start somewhere, what would be the 3 apps that you would say you would want to get familiar with in 2026?
You definitely have to get familiar with ChatGPT.
Okay.
You have to get familiar with Cursor.
Okay.
And then as far as an official AI app that I would say is actually AI, it's probably between something like Sora, because you can create a lot of great images and short video clips with Sora.
Okay.
So Sora is great for different things. But I know you asked for 3, but those 2 alone, ChatGPT and Cursor, because they work so well with each other, because you can actually get the ChatGPT model inside of Cursor. Okay. So Cursor has different models, and when I say model, let me just explain. So there's different models out there, which is ChatGPT, you've got Grok, and a whole multitude of other models out there. But what Cursor does is it brings all these models into one place. Oh, okay. So these models have different logic and reasoning and thinking behind them, because they're trained on different networks and computers. If you find that inside of Cursor, when you're trying to research or investigate or code something and it's not working properly on one model, you can simply just switch to another model, which may help you get through that problem.
Gotcha. So why would someone, or how would someone know better information? And that's probably bad English, of course, but you got ChatGPT. I know that Google has its own platform, and I don't know about some other platforms that I can think of off the top of my head that are tapping into this new wave of AI. But how would someone know to use ChatGPT versus Google's platform?
Well, I mean, like you said, there are a multitude out there. I said Grok, and that's owned by Elon Musk, by Twitter or X now.
Okay.
So that's one you can use, but there's a lot of them out there. I think Google, as you mentioned, they have Gemini.
Yes, correct.
There's just a lot of them out there, but how do you know which one to use? It really just depends, in my opinion, on which one you're comfortable with using.
Okay.
So to me, when I look for comfortability of an app, obviously you can't feel or touch it, so that's not
Correct.
what we're talking about. We're talking about user interface and user experience.
Gotcha.
So is it easy to use? Is it straightforward? Am I confused when I open the app? You know, stuff like that is most important. It can actually make or break an app. It can make a great app turn into nothing, or a great idea turn into nothing, and it can make a okay idea turn into one of the greatest ideas because it's just so easy to use.
Got it. So simpler to use. User interface. I guess
User
that's
interface.
UI. So
Yep.
if you know what UI meant, that's exactly what it is. User interface.
Yep.
How do you utilize a app, and how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like you can do it, or is it like, oh, it's cumbersome, it's convoluted, no, I can't deal with it, I'm just going to leave it to the side?
Yep.
So those are the things that you need to look for. It's just how you kind of respond to it, or how it responds to you.
How it responds to you, how you respond to it. Because I know, like, if
Okay.
you go inside the Facebook messages right now, or Facebook settings right now,
Right.
you'll see a whole bunch of settings that just go into more subsections of settings, and then it
Okay.
just like, it's like
Yeah.
a never-ending list. And then if you
Right.
try to go into like the Meta
so
suite,
true.
and you're looking into like Facebook ads, it's just kind of more of the same concept, where it's just like more sub settings, and it's very, very confusing. So although Facebook is definitely successful at this point,
Right.
they definitely didn't start out with all these sub menus and subsections. They started out simple.
Gotcha. So that's kind of like the age-old battle that we live in right now between Android and Apple.
Correct.
Just,
Yep.
some people say it's all about Apple, or some people say it's all about Android, depending
Yep.
on the platform that you like to use.
Yep, and that's why I say
okay.
UX too, which stands for user experience. It's not just about the user interface and what it looks like.
Right.
It's how does it work? Because everybody who loves Apple, we can tell you exactly why we love it, because they have multiple features that connect with multiple devices, like AirPlay, handoff, AirDrop, all these kind of different features
okay.
that allow us to easily, when I use a PC and I have my iPhone and I have to simply just send an image, it's not simply just AirDrop it over. I have to email it over, go
Right.
into my email, download the file. It's like I've already done 4 steps when I should have done 1.
Gotcha. So I thought it was just people wanted to have the blue bubble instead of the green one.
Well, I mean, that's what you hear, but if you want to be real about it and not just say you've got an Apple iPhone, because
Right.
at this point, I could care less about the iPhone. If you come out with another phone that does something simpler, I'm all for it. Like I said, it's all about user interface and user experience.
Gotcha. So the experience makes a big difference of whether or not someone uses your platform.
Correct.
So would you say that MMA is making the experience that much more friendlier than all the other experiences that other people may have had so far?
That's actually a great way to put it, and it sounds very biased coming from the both of us, but
Right.
I would say, as being the developer, that's definitely what we're trying to focus in on and key in on, is making sure that the user experience and the user interface is easy to use, and it's fun and exciting, and it's not something that's boring and confusing like Facebook settings, or maybe even, I'm noticing now, I really didn't want to get into TikTok when I first got into social media, or not when I first got into, but when it came around, because I really was just kind of confused about it. It just had a whole bunch of buttons I wasn't used to, and Instagram was kind of just more simpler. It just worked, and that's kind of more so along the lines of TikTok now. It's like, even with us building Trap Shopping so you can sell online, it's a lot more simpler to do than what I've seen TikTok Shop to be. There's just a lot of buttons.
Right.
You've got gifting, which is a cool idea and concept when it comes to actually giving people money. It's like tips, digital tips.
Okay.
But at the same time, some of those settings and ideas can become way overwhelming, and it's like, I don't even know what to do now. I thought we was just doing a live feed.
Gotcha. So you find that attracting the audience that we're trying to reach, if you keep things, as they say, keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
You would find that they would adapt to your platform a lot easier.
Oh yeah, they would definitely adapt a lot easier.
That's what's up. So MMA is making a system for you to help you build your business out and scale. And scale is just growth. That's really what scale is. It's just taking your business from, I don't know, 10,000 a month to 100,000 a month, and being able to use a super highway that can actually automate your systems, SOPs and digital platforms and autopilot, all these different terms that we use week in and week out to help you grow to your next level, because we don't know what your next level is, but we know we have the systems to help get it there.
Yep. And we know we have the systems because actually yesterday we just launched a system that was built by us right here, Course Creator Academy, Creator Collective, where you get to actually learn about videography and photography and get opportunities and sell in our marketplace and get real money inside of a platform that was built through our expertise.
Wow. So you were able to utilize the systems that we have in place to help build another course creator company.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, platform.
Correct.
And then now people can utilize that for film, for videography, or forms of media.
Correct, forms of media. So it's actually giving you a real opportunity to get opportunities from other creators inside of the community. If you have old used equipment that you want to sell, you can sell it in our marketplace, sort of similar to the Facebook marketplace. Download all kind of hundreds of assets that we have in there, like templates and LUTs and sound effects and all those kind of things you guys use when you're editing your videos for clients or personal projects. So, but that's just one way that we've built a platform in here that's automated that helps people make money overnight, like we talk about.
Gotcha. So, making money overnight, because that's really what I think all this boils down to is how can people make money quicker without disturbing too much of their lifestyle.
Right. Yep.
So, there is obviously selling programs. And then what about subscriptions?
So I know a lot of people get a little flustered when it comes to actually selling their services and they don't know what to charge or how to even charge them. And that's when it comes to actually having that business model and what you're actually going to charge on set and how you're going to charge it. And subscriptions is actually a very great way to sell your service, app, or platform because it not only allows you to keep up with the amount of people every month that you have coming into your platform on a monthly basis, but also obviously the forefront is that you have the money coming in on a consistent basis every month. And what the best part about subscriptions that people may or may not realize, and I've realized it over the years with the Netflix subscriptions we had and other subscriptions, is that when you have these subscriptions, you may think, oh, well, I didn't pay this month, so they're losing out on the money that they didn't make from me, and that's going to hurt the bottom dollar eventually if I just keep doing that. But what you don't realize when you're running a subscription-based business model for your services is that that's kind of like the point. It's not necessarily that you're keeping every single client every single month because we all know we switch phone services, we switch networks and internet providers all the time.
Right.
And we may go back to that same internet provider again depending on the service area we're in or our needs.
True.
But at that time, we at least got your attention for 1 month to get our subscription base, and the next month we may get your friend Fred, and next month is Sarah. But it's like as long as we have that continuous 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000, however many people your platform's running every single month, that's money over and over again.
Wow. So if based off of that business model, then I would say that insurance is a subscription.
Insurance is probably one of the biggest subscriptions that you will have in your lifetime.
Okay. Wow. So, a lot of different subscription models out there. So then that would be insurance. That would be financing. That would be electricity. Everything that you need on a consistent basis, you subscribe to every month, and they put the value on it. So why not put a value on what you can bring, and then other people can dive into your platform and get that knowledge and those services.
Yep. And the cool thing about business models and subscription based and however you want to run it is you can actually combine multitude of things. I mean, Mouse just mentioned the electric bill. I know my mom pays her electric bill at one point on a monthly basis, but now they have pay as you go where you can use whatever you use per day and you pay, and when you run out, it'll cut off if you don't have it paid up. So it's like pay as you go inside of a subscription base. Wow.
So it seems like a lot of businesses are changing their business model based off of the climate of business today.
Correct.
Okay. But they run that on a system.
They run that on a system.
So that means there has to be a system in the background to help make this platform happen.
Exactly. And that's what people are not understanding. Is when we keep telling you get a system, do a system, learn a system, AI, we're not just saying buzzwords over and over again.
Gotcha.
We know that every single, because we're human and we live life just like you guys do.
Facts.
We know that every single day we go out into the world that some kind of system is being used on a back-end service server somewhere. I can promise you, whether you've swiped a card, whether even if you've gone into Target and you want to know how much an item is, so you find one of those red squares and you scan it, that's a system.
Right.
Every single thing you do is a system. You get on Facebook and you scroll through, that's hitting a database. Every time you make a move, hitting a database.
Okay.
So it's like you almost cannot live without systems.
Wow. So we live within systems even though we don't know we're utilizing them.
Every single day.
Wow. And so that can help make or break a company. Actually, if I'm correct, I think we were talking about it just the other day. Isn't that how Sam Walton did his Walmart program, was a system, and now all of a sudden it's a system that everybody loves to use or hates to use,
Yep.
but they can't go without it.
Exactly. And I don't want to get the story all the way wrong, but I do know that Sam Walton at one point realized that he's going to have some kind of system because there's no way he's going to keep up with all his inventory. And so he said, I have to get an inventory system. Now, Sam Walton obviously was even an older gentleman then, but even as he gained in the years more older, he's not going to sit down and build this system, of course.
Right.
He's going to get a company to build the system for him and let them run it and secure it on the back end so that all he has to worry about is the grocery truck showing up at time.
Gotcha. So everybody being in their respective spot, but they have a system to tag into to say, this person's doing the production, this person's doing the delivery, this person is doing the inventory. So everything was kind of like collaborating together, and now his family is like part of the top 50 billionaires of the world.
Yep, and I didn't even know it, but I used to work for Kroger when I was 16, and at the time, I was using one of their inventory systems because I used to walk around with an inventory gun, and I used to have to scan the shelves, and it would tell me how many we got left, and if I had to order any more, I'd have to reorder it and all that, and it would keep up with it, and that's an entire system built right there into a scanner.
Gotcha. So what that's telling me is that if you want to scale your business from a Sam Walton to being a nobody to over the years becoming somebody because of systems, and he kept on adding more systems to his business, then you would have to, if you're a brand new person that just made a product, you need to get a system to help intake, process, outtake, or output.
Yep. Okay. That's correct, and that's what all businesses run on. Regardless whether it's a simple login, regardless whether it's a check-in booth where they have some kind of QR scan code, no matter what, every single system runs on a business. And I didn't realize that either until also my mom. She's been working with Parks and Rec for over 20 years, and they actually have an internal back-end system called Rec One, where somebody has built them a system to help them keep up with all the payments of people who rent their buildings, or summer camp payments, or every time they have to pay for their rec football or baseball for their kids and stuff, they do it through a program called Rec One that they have built. And I didn't realize the whole time Rec One is literally a system that it was built like we're building here, and it's used and it's licensed to Deer Lake Park in Douglasville.
So with that being said, with all these billionaires right now, so the Mark Zuckerbergs or the Sam Altmans or the what was this Oracle? What's his name? Ellison, I can't think of his name, the Oracle.
Oh, Ellison,
and his son David, which is now owner of Sundance and doing some things. If you watch the news, just look up David Ellison, I believe that's the last name, and look up Sundance and see what they're trying to tap into. But is that the reason why they're hiring so many people to plug them into giving them a dollar amount, that this astronomical salary they're getting just to help develop more systems?
That's exactly it, and that's what the key to all this is, and obviously there's even more depth when it comes to owning your own server, owning your own farm, your data center. I mean, there's multiple levels to this, but this is the crux, the start of it all when it comes to actually owning a company and running a company, because whether, like I said, it be something small or something big like Sam Walton's built, you have to have a system to run your platform, your service, your software, whatever it is, because if not, even if it's something simple as a Google Sheet, where you're keeping up with that, you still have to have some kind of system. So definitely that's where all this is going and where it's at right now.
So the person that understands the system can actually build their own system, and then that can help scale their business.
Yep.
Okay. So, because I think that's really what it boils down to, is a person not necessarily thinking about revenue generating models if they have something that's on autopilot that's making them $5,000, $10,000 a month.
Right.
Now they just got to learn to live within their means.
Right, and that's easier said than done.
Right.
Easier said than done, for sure.
Okay, so if we understand the merchandising business model, so can that same system and that same business model work for people like that do coaching?
Oh yeah, in fact, that is a great software and service business model for coaching when it comes to actually building these ecosystems and these AI systems we're talking about, because not only can you get somebody, obviously hire somebody to do your media when it comes to building the course, if it's some kind of video format or whatever, but then you can hire somebody or learn it yourself if that's what you want to do and build out the actual course system that runs it. So it's not just where you have to go find some kind of other system that's been built like a Podia or a Coursera or anything like that. It's like you can build your own platform that hosts your own files, that do your own function and features, fully customized to you, your system, and your terms of service.
So with all that breakdown you just said that you can do a custom system, who could they do that with?
MMA.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we don't want to put it on you too heavy to go out and actually have to learn every single technical aspect that we've already spent years doing here. That's the whole point of the business model we've started.
Right.
That's not to tell you that you shouldn't go learn and try it on yourself. Try everything out. Go investigate and learn and see what it is that we're talking about. But once you hit that wall and you realize there's more, a little bit more to this than us just telling you to go download Cursor, because I'm just going to be completely honest. I had Cursor on my laptop. I tried it out for about 30 days, a month, whatever, and then I had it on there for a year straight and I didn't touch it.
Wow.
Didn't even touch it.
For a whole year.
A whole year. And I didn't even realize how valuable it was. Just a whole program sitting on my computer that literally builds, I'm going to call AI systems, ecosystems. Right. I call them infrastructures, because if you really look at it, they're like digital infrastructures that are like built in real time with AI.
Wow. So you had a whole platform that you could have been using a year ago, and only because you didn't know how to properly apply it, I guess you could say.
Correct.
And the benefits of that system that help you do what you're doing now.
Correct. I even actually got a job offer where I was educating young children, and we had to create a slideshow, and I was tired of doing the regular slideshow or Canva or none of that. I wanted something better. And I opened the program back up, and it actually built an entire, not just a slideshow, but an actual mini platform with buttons and animations, and it was kid friendly, and it was actually built for that specific job. And at that point is when I kind of realized that this is a little bit more. And I started to show people, and it was almost like people was like, psh, 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 whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then finally one day I showed a few more people, and they're like, oh yeah, that's something.
Wow. So with the application, so you've been giving out game, and I've given out a little bit of nuggets, but not as many as you have today, about the platforms that can be used. And so a person goes in and says, you know what, I'm going to go and try out Cursor.
Okay.
What's the likelihood of them giving you a call or giving us a call tomorrow and say, you know what, do this for me because this is too much?
Well, the funny part about that is the likelihood is very high that you do that, because again, I'm not telling you that I'm a rocket scientist and I figured it out overnight.
Right.
But what I'm telling you is that I'm able to figure it out so quickly because I've been doing web development and videography and media and technology and repairing computers for half my entire life.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, when you think about it like that, I'm 28 years old, and I started doing this when I was like 12, 13 years. I got my first MacBook when I was 12.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I was learning and teaching people on YouTube about how to edit their navigation bar menu inside of Dreamweaver. And it was just a lot of technical stuff. I had a lot of companies actually, or a few companies send me out some products for testing that I tested. And so I've been a geek from a young age. So it's not, I say all that to say it's not just something that you're going to learn overnight, and it shouldn't be something that frustrates you, that you think that you have to learn in your business or you won't succeed. When there's people like me and Mouse here that can definitely make them very easily without frustration for you and your business and making you scale.
Gotcha. So essentially what you're saying, what I heard him say is Cody has the experience to help you in your business scale, of course, and get to a place called there, but he has the experience and the knowledge, and it's not something he just opened up AI and then all of a sudden AI gave him all the gems. He actually had to learn something to understand how to apply it, and then from the application, now he can actually sell it to you to help you get to your results a lot quicker, so you can save that time.
Yep, exactly. Okay. And like you just said, it's not just about opening up AI and it gave it to me, because as we stated earlier with GitHub, that's just one of the apps you can use to host your platform. But there's multitude of apps that you're going to have to end up learning, and back-end data, and how to copy this and do that, and how to write this code and do that when you actually make these apps. So it's, like I said, it's a little bit more than just opening up Cursor and saying this is what I want. I know we have gotten to a point where there's other apps that are sort of similar to Cursor, like Base 44. I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but there's a few other apps that are just similar to Cursor, and they promise that tell us what you want and we'll deliver it right to you type vibe. But we know, as doing it in the business and being in the field we're in, that it's not just that. You can't just open up Cursor or Base 44 or Replit and say, this is what I want. There's a lot more deeper process to actual technical terms and databases, and being able to connect those two and making it fully functional.
Wow, so that means that there's no blueprint to what we're doing.
There's not a single blueprint to what we're doing.
Wow, so a person can't just say, this is the business model of the old and it changes to this. They actually have to design a custom system for their business model, and then we can actually work that business model for them.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
It's going to take some thought and thinking on your end, and of course you could use AI, like I said, with ChatGPT and coming up with those SOPs and some business ideas and some different business models that you may want to put into your infrastructure and workings. But overall, once you get those, and we can help you get those if you don't know where to start, you can then come to Marketing Mousetrap Agency and we can build the system or help you build that system in your business to help you scale.
Wow. Or we can plug and play, I believe.
Yep.
So if there is a nuance in your business that, the intake is right and the process is a little bit off, but the output can be right, there's certain things in that process that you may need to change.
Yep.
And then that's what AI can help with, and then we can help build that.
Exactly. And there's a lot of tools out there, and what I've realized also with Cursor is there's things called scripts.
Okay.
So if you decide that, because what Cursor can do is it hosts a whole terminal inside of your window of Cursor. Okay. So if you don't know, the terminal of your computer can actually write commands to control your entire computer. Your files, your system. Yeah, so if you open up a terminal window outside of Cursor, you can also control your computer. But terminal is also inside of Cursor, which allows you to control your computer. So if you wanted to create a script, let's just say, for instance, you had about 100 duplicated photos on your computer and you wanted to quickly get rid of them without having to search through them. Okay. Cursor will write a script that tells your computer, search through this file, find all duplicate photos, and instantly delete them. And you can do that by just typing in the command and running it.
Wow, so you can actually prompt Cursor to write a script, and the script will respond to your computer, and then your computer will do the action of what Cursor wrote.
Correct.
That's fire.
Yep.
I hope you got that. It was multiple different things that were integrated together, that work together, in order to give you the result that you want. Yep. Do you really want to know the process of how to do it, or you just wanted to say, do this and it gets done?
Yep. Because what we're seeing is a lot of people are more concerned about the work, how you got there, what did you do, what were you playing with, how you used AI, you cheated, you didn't do it quick enough, or you did it too quick. It's all kind of things people say because you're using AI, and it's like none of this is true. You asked me to make you a 4-second clip of a man smiling. You got back a 4-second clip of a man smiling. Right. I don't see the problem.
Right.
I don't see the issue in saying that we're lying or cheating or stealing or robbing or whatever you want to call AI when AI is there for the use. If it wasn't there to be used for what it's used for, it wouldn't be there in the first place.
I like that. So we give a person a result of what they asked for, and then they're going to question how we got to the result.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yep. And that's what I'm hearing. When I hear people tell me that they think I'm cheating or they don't think AI is right or it's not real or true, whatever, I'm like, so you're mad about the work and not the result.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. So people are having a hard time digesting how a result is come to versus the actual result of what they want. And then does that change the value of the work you did do, or quote unquote did not do?
Right. Well, that's a good point. It absolutely doesn't change the value at all. In fact, I would even argue it ups the value because you're doing it quicker. And as long as it works, and it works every time, and you're making sure that you're on the back end checking it for errors, and you're in the middle, you might even have someone else check it, and then on the front end it works and it outputs everything correctly, then who cares what and you use to get the job done?
Wow. So there's a lot of just biases. Once again, we talked about this before, and prejudices that people have just by you actually proving that you can do what you say you can do.
Yep, exactly. And not just prove you say you could do what you say you could do, but proving that you can do what they want.
Wow. So people are afraid that you are doing Steph Curry, just hitting all the time.
Yep.
but don't know behind the scenes. You got 14 years of experience.
Exactly.
That it makes it seem like on camera, it's just, okay, click, click, click. But the reality of it, you know how to go back and read and say, you know what, that's off.
Exactly.
Let's change this part. And now from that little sentence that's changed, that mathematical formula, algorithms, prompts, and all that stuff, it changes the end result. And now you can move forward into that person's program.
Exactly, yep. And
Okay.
if you just take these AI bite by bite, step by step, when it comes to even coding, it's like, don't worry about getting the whole site looking right and making sure that everything is perfect. You want to start what I call a wireframe.
Okay.
And if you don't start this wireframe, you'll never start. It's like everything in life. You want to start out with the brand new Mercedes, the brand new Lamborghini, the Ferrari,
Right.
but you haven't even bought the Honda. You haven't even you haven't even driven the Pinto.
Talk about it.
You're still here wanting the Lamborghini, and that's not going to happen because that's not how any of this happens. So if you open up Cursor and you think, wow, I'm just going to shut my computer and throw it in the water,
Right.
you know, take a second, read the sections of what it's got going on. It'll tell you how to use it step by
Nice.
step. And like I said, they have plenty of modes inside of Cursor specifically that'll help you with like ask mode, build mode, plan mode, and it just shows you step by step of the way.
Cody, I want to go back to what you just said because that hit me really hard because I work with a lot of creators that aesthetically, they get stuck on the image of what it's supposed to look like and not the system that's going to make it run.
Exactly. And in fact, I'm glad you said it that way because me and my business partner actually had to take a step back a few months ago with each other and say, we're mad at results that aren't getting done, but it's because we want them perfected. We want to make sure the thumbnail looks good.
Okay.
We want to make sure that person got tagged correctly or they got invited as a collaboration or, whatever it is that or that music wasn't loud enough or it wasn't vibing right. Whatever it is that you think is wrong with your content, it's not wrong at all.
Wow.
It's the overthinking. It's the not really wanting to put forth the effort because, like you say, we want it to be perfect.
Yes.
And if it's not going to be perfect, then I'm not even going to do it at all.
Wow. And I think that's a big, big deal nowadays is because of the fact that in ministry, we call it an exacting Ezra. Okay. And that person does everything right in their mindset. And if it's not absolutely right, then they don't move, which is information paralysis.
Yep.
They just they stay in stuck mode and they're just like, I can't move because it's not perfect. And they need to be like Nike, I guess, and just do it?
Just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. Because here's the thing, AI isn't going to be perfect either. So when you're working with AI, even if you have the best idea on the market and you think, oh yeah, this is going to hit, this is going to be the one, you're going to start working with AI and you may have to correct AI.
Got it.
So there's going to be times where you're working on an app or you're working in chat and you ask for some kind of operation procedure from your business or you ask for some kind of business model and some kind of payment form process or whatever you ask for, it may tell you one way and you have to read over it and say, I don't think that's going to work. And you go back and say, hey, you said this, I don't think it's going to work. And immediately it'll come back and say, you know what, you're right, that won't work. Here's what will work.
Wow. So you had a mindset of what it's supposed to look like in the end. Maybe didn't know how to get the process right nor how to communicate properly with all the different algorithms. But you could say, hey, this is what I need it to do. And it says, this is what you need to do. And then the outcome is still not right. But you had the knowledge to say, you know what, let's change this, this, and this. And then it actually, between you and the communication, let me say it that way.
Yep.
Back and forth. The volley. The prompting.
Yep.
The volley, the hitting back and forth. Okay, you do this, I do this. You do this, I do this. And we come to a place called there.
And that's a good point you made because a lot of people like to say that, or I've heard this from a lot of online sources. When I say a lot of people, I scroll through Twitter a lot. These people may not be even real.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, but when I say a lot of people, this is a lot of people. So, when you start talking about something, you start seeing all that on your feed. And now that all I do is code and Cursor and chat and AI, that's all I see. And what I see a lot of is people saying, well, you're going to have to try that code over and over and tell it over and over it's not working back when you could just do it yourself. It's like, yeah, but do you know building code manually and fixing errors manually takes weeks, months, potentially years?
Wow.
And we're talking about a couple of days and I'm supposed to be mad? I don't see the frustration that people are going to be getting from that. I mean, if anything, yeah, sure, I may be irritated in that moment where I'm like, just do it, just fix it, come on AI. But you know, once we get through that fix, and it'll even tell you, hey, I've added some logs here. When you rerun this, check the logs, and inside the logs, I've added it so that it'll tell you and fire and tell you exactly why it's not working. So now, if it don't work, no worries, I'll code it so that it'll tell us why it's not working. You'll give me that information and I'll fix it for you.
So in just the mindset of just doing it, it gives you a quicker way to say how things are not supposed to be done, so you can do it the right way.
Exactly. It stops you that error. Like I said, it may give you that error up front too, and it may be even something you thought about ahead of time. You're like, no, that's not right. I mean, be blunt with AI. Act like it's your therapist, someone you're angry with it. Hey, life's got to work out, AI. You know, talk with it in that respect, and actually tell it step by step what's going on, what you're seeing on the screen, what you're not seeing on the screen, and that should be on the screen. And it'll get you, like you said, to the place called there, where it knows, oh, you wanted an apple, then an orange, then a pear, but I only gave you an apple, then a banana. Hold on a minute, you need an apple, orange, pear, apple, banana, pear, apple, and then eventually you're at the apple, orange, pear, and it's only been 15 minutes.
Wow, versus 15 years.
Versus 15 years, 15 days, 15 weeks, whatever.
Wow. So you can go to market that much quicker.
Yep, exactly.
Which means that you can make money quicker.
Yep, which means test mode. And what I've noticed now, and maybe somebody's going to call us out on this video and say, that's not right, you need to stop that. But what I've noticed is, and this has been the blueprint of what I've been doing, is live testing and live giving. So essentially what I'll do is, if I come up with an idea or you come up with an idea, we'll go back to the drawing board, go ahead and test it live with people and see if it works live. Because here's what I'm noticing is, with AI, the quickest way is for live testing. Now, of course, if you have a app that started from scratch and you want to know, is this work, this work, this work, you don't want to just throw it online and give out the link. You know, there's ways to do that even in live, but essentially having it live when you're already there and just adding a little bit at a time and being able to see that it works live as it should is a lot better than having to go through test mode. Oh, that works. Now let's upload it. Oh, that works. You know, just bam, upload it live.
So just straight go to market, just like that.
Go to market.
Okay. So go to market will give you the feedback that you need.
Exactly.
You know what? I think perfect example. Tonight. We've been streaming for however long we've been streaming tonight. I was upside, or I should say we were upside down. But our audience didn't, they saw it, but we didn't, because we're just here doing what we do. And one of our audience members had to say, hey, you're upside down.
Yep.
So if we didn't go to market and we just pre-recorded this and then uploaded it,
exactly, yep,
then we would have had people.
We didn't have that audience, like you say, to see and test it for us.
Right.
And sometimes that's good. Now, of course, if we were a company like Apple and we decided a new feature and we threw it on the site, that was not going to work, because you're going to have 50,000 plus people trying to use that feature at one time, going, not working, not working, not working, and that's going to hurt your business.
Yes.
But the cool thing is, when you're a company that stays, I don't want to say down, but you're not as big as a market as Apple, you can do these small things where you just throw something up on the site, test it out, see if it works.
Right.
And especially if it's not affecting your overall use of your site overall, it's just some kind of small addition, and if it don't work, cool, we'll can it and go on to the next idea.
Exactly. So we got real live testing, and that makes a difference, because now when we actually are a bigger company, where it seems like you can't make a mistake when you're bigger. You can make it makes sense when you're smaller. But when you grow to be this massive, giant of or conglomerate, as the word would be used, then you can't make the same mistakes, because people are like, wait a minute, you're too big to be making that mistake.
Apple?
You should have known that.
You mean the back button didn't work on Apple?
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So if people should take away something, they should take away with systems and utilizing them, or calling a company that can help utilize them. And then also investigating the applications, but just don't stay in the investigating, but actually make movement to application.
It's okay to investigate and take your time. Don't rush through this, because there's a lot that you need to learn. But eventually it comes to a point where you're not going to have all the knowledge in your back pocket at once or overnight. So just go ahead with the knowledge you do have. Like I said, when I started, I was teaching people how to change navigation bars inside of Adobe Dreamweaver when I was like 12, 13 years old.
Dreamweaver,
which is something that's really simple. Very old. It's something that's very, very simple to me now. But back then, I thought that was like the science, the brand new science I need to go tell the world, because I'm a 12, 13-year-old kid that now knows how to change a navigation bar inside of a editing app for websites.
So, you know what, I'm glad you just said that. So let's just give them a real life, you know, because I said, you know, the Blockbuster model to the Netflix model, and who's to say what's going to be next after Netflix?
Right.
But the current Dreamweaver in AI world would be what?
Cursor.
Boom. Cursor would be your new Dreamweaver.
Cursor is the new Dreamweaver.
So people that are old enough to know about Dreamweaver and actually play with it, you would have fun with Cursor and learning how to understand the differences between the old technology and the new technology.
Yep. And the great thing about AI now with Cursor is back in the day when you used Dreamweaver, you would have a split view, and you would have like the live view of things you could click on the screen, and then you would have like the code view. But now imagine you had Dreamweaver and the code view, but the code view had a chat box where you could tell it exactly what to change. And as you told it what to change, the live view would change in real time and showcase that change.
Okay.
So imagine that is what Cursor is.
Wow. So I think a lot of times people have a hard time looking at what they used to do things, or how they used to do things, and accepting the new way of doing things, because the new way of doing things is that much faster or that much quicker, and then how to apply that into their life when they're used to doing it, you know, this way.
Exactly. Yep. I think that's probably the biggest barrier of entry. It's like, I would have loved to have been around when we went from horse and carriages to cars and engines.
Okay.
Because I think that was probably almost like this AI leap, where I'm not saying people weren't willing to get into a car and go fast, but it's like, dude, I've got a farm with 20 horses.
Right.
You want me to sell all these and go buy that engine car?
Right.
Really?
Right.
You sure about that? Mm-hmm. Are you sure? I got 20 living horses. Mm-hmm. But yes, they do want you to go sell those horses and get into this new Ford car that they just released. Of course they do.
Gotcha.
Because it's the newest technology, it's the newest wave, it's the way things are going to progress and evolve. We're not still riding around in horse and carriage because we have cars now.
Right.